In some countries around the world, the cost of living is 50 to 70% lower than in the United States, which means that $1,000 a month in these places can provide a lifestyle that would cost $3,000 to $4,000 in America to achieve the same level of comfort. These are not remote or underdeveloped places. They are countries with vibrant cities, comfortable housing, diverse cuisine, and a pace of life where money is no longer a constant daily worry. In this video, we are not talking about travel, and we are not selling unrealistic dreams. Instead, we analyze the real cost of living, including housing, food transportation, monthly utilities, and the everyday expenses you face when you actually live there. The goal is simple: to find the countries where you can live comfortably, enjoy modern conveniences, and stop worrying about money with just $1,000 a month. And if you've ever wondered whether life could be easier, whether your money could go further, then what comes next may make you rethink everything. 3. Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the lowest cost countries to live in across Asia, but what makes it special isn't just the numbers. For many foreigners, Vietnam is still considered an undiscovered gem, a place where vibrant cities, beautiful beaches, and world-famous cuisine all exist side by side in a rhythm of life that feels fast, yet deeply human. In Vietnam, mornings begin with the sound of motorbikes, the smell of freshly brewed coffee, and small food stalls opening before sunrise. The cities may be crowded, but life moves in a way that doesn't constantly push you forward. You can sit for hours at a sidewalk cafe with a cup of coffee that costs just a few cents, watching the world pass by without anyone rushing you to leave. When it comes to cost of living, monthly expenses typically range from $700 to $900, even in major cities like Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi. Compared to Western cities, that's 50 to 60% cheaper, while still offering access to most modern conveniences. With this budget, you're not just scraping by, you're living comfortably with choices and far less financial pressure. Housing is one of Vietnam's biggest advantages. A Western-style one-bedroom apartment with an elevator security air conditioning and private living space usually costs around $350 to $450 per month. Even in central areas, prices like these are common, something that would be almost unimaginable in many developed countries. Many foreigners live in modern apartment buildings overlooking the city, enjoying a sense of safety and comfort without stretching their budget. Food in Vietnam is both affordable and emotionally rich. A local meal costs about $2 to $3, and quality is never sacrificed. From a bowl of pho in the morning to noodles for lunch to a hot dinner in the evening, food is everywhere on street corners and in air-conditioned restaurants alike. Even if you eat out almost every day, your total monthly food budget usually stays around $250 to $300, a figure that's nearly impossible to match in the West. Getting around is just as easy. Taxis, motorbikes, and ride-hailing apps allow you to reach almost anywhere without owning a vehicle. With $50 to $70 a month, you can comfortably commute, meet friends, or simply explore new neighborhoods whenever you want. But what convinces many people to stay in Vietnam longer than planned is the people. Vietnamese culture is generally open and welcoming, especially toward foreigners, and everyday interactions feel natural rather than transactional. A middle-aged man having his morning coffee might strike up a casual conversation, ask where you're from, smile, and then return to his daily routine. These small, unforced moments gradually create a sense of belonging, even if you've only recently arrived. Some foreigners say that for the first time in years, they no longer feel pressured to prove anything. In Vietnam, you're not judged by the car you drive or the job title you hold. You're simply part of daily life, eating, working, talking, and existing alongside everyone else. And because of that, with $1,000 a month. Vietnam doesn't just cover your basic needs. It offers a comfortable, complete, and relaxed way of living where you don't have to cut back on essentials and where money stops being the center of every decision you make each day. 2. Mexico. Mexico has long been a top choice for American retirees, not because it's flashy or extreme, but because it offers something very specific, a life that still feels full without the constant financial pressure. It's a vast country with enormous cultural diversity, ranging from quiet colonial towns to sun-drenched coastal cities, and most importantly, a low cost of living, paired with a surprisingly high quality of life. Life in Mexico moves at a slightly slower pace than in the United States, but it never feels dull. Mornings often begin with sunlight birdsong and the smell of fresh bread from small neighborhood bakeries. People are used to greeting one another, stopping to chat for a moment without rushing off. For many foreigners, it's this deeply human sense of normalcy that makes them stay far longer than they originally planned. In terms of expenses, monthly living costs in Mexico typically range from $750 to $950 depending on the city and lifestyle. Compared to the United States, that's about 55 to 65% cheaper, while still offering access to familiar comforts. At this budget level, life stops being a constant exercise in bill watching and becomes something more stable, predictable, and easy to manage. Housing is one of Mexico's strongest advantages. A well-maintained one-bedroom apartment with good light and comfortable living space usually costs around $350 to $450 per month. In many areas, you can even rent a house with a small courtyard or yard where mornings are spent drinking coffee outdoors and afternoons reading in quiet shade, a kind of lifestyle that would be extremely expensive in the US. Homes in Mexico are designed for living, not just sleeping. Food is inseparable from daily life here. Mexico offers a rich, regionally diverse cuisine that is remarkably affordable. With $250 to $300 a month, you can eat out almost every day without guilt. From street tacos and small family-run eateries to high-quality local restaurants, food is everywhere. Fresh, flavorful, and deeply connected to community life. Getting around is just as easy and inexpensive. Public transportation is affordable and widely available in cities, while local taxis cost little and don't require second thoughts before hopping in. Monthly transportation expenses typically fall between $20 and $40, allowing you to move freely without owning a car. But as with Vietnam, what truly keeps people in Mexico isn't just the cost, it's the people. Mexicans are generally warm, open, and relationship-oriented. A neighbor may invite you over for coffee, a shop owner remembers your usual order, and casual street conversations happen naturally without formality. These small moments build a genuine sense of being welcomed, especially for those who come from more distant, hurried societies. Some Americans say that in Mexico for the first time, they no longer feel defined by their job or income. They're seen simply as people, neighbors, regular customers, members of the local rhythm. Life doesn't demand constant proof of success. It just asks you to show up and live. And because of that, with a budget of $1,000 a month, Mexico allows you to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle, exceptional food, and high-quality housing, all well within reach, a life where money still matters, but no longer controls every decision you make. 1. Cambodia. Cambodia is one of the cheapest countries in Southeast Asia, but what keeps many people here isn't just the low prices. It's an economy that is extremely friendly to foreigners, where daily life feels easy to enter, easy to navigate, and free of many of the barriers found elsewhere in the region. For many, Cambodia isn't a place to level up a career, but a place to lower the pressure of life. From the first days in Phnom Penh or Siem Reap, you can feel a different rhythm. The cities are not rushed, not overwhelming, and not trying to impress anyone. Mornings unfold slowly, small cafes opening along the street, the hum of traffic just loud enough to notice people moving through their day without urgency. No one pushes you to hurry, and no one asks what you do for a living. In terms of cost, monthly expenses in Cambodia typically fall between $700 and $850, and living comfortably under $1,000 a month is entirely realistic. At this budget level, you don't have to cut back on essentials or live in temporary conditions. Instead, life moves at a pace that allows you to feel present, like you're actually living, not just getting through the month. Housing is a clear advantage. A comfortable one-bedroom apartment, usually with air conditioning, a small balcony, and private living space, often costs around $250 to $350 per month. Rent is low, options are plentiful, and the process is simple. Many foreigners live in apartments overlooking the river, or quiet neighborhoods where an evening breeze and soft city lights are enough to feel at ease. Food in Cambodia is simple but satisfying. Local meals are very affordable, filling, and available almost everywhere. Even restaurants that cater to foreigners remain reasonably priced without the feeling of being overcharged. With $250 to $300 a month, you can eat out regularly, mixing local dishes with familiar comfort foods without second-guessing every order. Getting around makes life even easier. Tuk-tuks and taxis are everywhere, easy to find and inexpensive. $30 to $50 per month is usually enough for daily transportation, meeting friends running errands, or heading to the riverside in the evening. Cities are compact, so getting around rarely feels exhausting. What leaves the deepest impression on many people, however, is the lack of judgment. In Cambodia, few people care where you're from, how much money you make, or what you do for work. You can be retired freelancing, or simply taking a pause from your old life, and that's completely normal. Locals tend to be quietly friendly, without excessive curiosity or distance. Some foreigners say that in Cambodia, they felt for the first time that they didn't have to explain their life. They could sit for hours in a cafe, read a book, watch people pass by, exchange a few words with the owner, and return home without guilt for not doing enough. Life here allows you to exist without constantly proving your worth. And because of that, with a monthly budget under $1,000, Cambodia offers a chance at a comfortable, low-pressure life. Not luxury in a flashy sense, but a different kind of wealth, rich in time, rich in mental ease, and rich in the freedom to live at your own pace. All three countries we've explored, Vietnam, Mexico, and Cambodia, may differ in culture, climate, and pace of life, but they share one clear thing in common: they allow you to rent good housing, eat well every day, and move around easily without living under constant financial pressure. In these places, you don't have to sacrifice comfort just to save money. You don't have to choose between rent and food. You don't have to calculate every trip or every meal. Life feels more complete, more breathable, not because you're richer, but because your money goes further. And that's the key point. If $1,000 a month isn't enough to live in the West, then in these countries, it can create a completely different kind of life, one where comfort isn't a luxury, and peace of mind isn't something you earn only after years of exhaustion. Maybe the real question isn't where can you live cheaper, but how do you actually want to live? If you want to keep exploring places around the world where life is slower, lighter, and easier to breathe, check out the next video on your screen. And if these stories resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to discover Globe Places Top 10 so we can continue this journey together, finding different ways to live before time slips by too fast.